Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm going to do our January the 19th just for today in a meditation. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. The title of the meditation, oh my goodness. The title of the meditation, Making Mountains into Molehills. When we stop living in the here and now, our problems become magnified unreasonably. Now, that comes from the basic text, page 99, if you want to read it. Some of us seem to make mountains out of molehills with our problems. Even those of us who found some measure of serenity have probably blown a problem far out of proportion at some time in our recovery. And if we haven't done so yet, we probably will before long. When we find ourselves obsessed with the complication in our lives, we will do well to sharply remind ourselves of all that is going right. Perhaps we're afraid we won't be able to pay our bills for the month. Instead of sitting at the calculator adding our financial liabilities over and over, we can take stock of our efforts to reduce expenses. Following this mini inventory, we continue with the task at hand and remind ourselves that as long as we are doing the footwork, a loving higher power will care for our lives. Mountain-sized problems happen sometimes, but we don't need to create them. Trust in a loving God of our understanding will put most of our problems in their proper perspective. We no longer need to create chaos to feel excited about our lives. Our recovery gives us countless real life opportunities for excitement and drama. Just for today, I will take a realistic look at my problems and see that most of them are minor. I will leave them that way and enjoy my life. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the serenity prayer and the third step prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God, take our will in our lives, guide us in our recovery, and show us how to live. Clean, of course, just for today. My name is Mighty Stream. Okay. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful meditation? I'm laughing because the way that I ended that and said, "My name is Mighty Stream," as though you don't, as though you don't already know me, is quite hilarious to me. And I can just tell you, the time here is about 4 in the morning in Iowa, and I've been up a couple of hours. And you know where I'm at? Don't laugh. Please, I'll tell you the secret, but you've got to promise me. You've got to promise me that you won't laugh. I am in a beautiful hotel for the next few days. As I've mentioned, I'm here taking care of my father. He's on hospice, and I wanted my boys to be able to see him in a sense where he's aware of who they are, and they're having a beautiful conversation because they won't see him again, nor will I before he passes. That's heavy. That is a mountain to me. But the point that I'm making, the point that I'm making that I really don't want to say is that I am at a hotel. My boys are sleeping soundly. And I made the bathroom, you guys, please. Yeah, I made the bathroom into an office, and I'm sitting here at the sink enjoying my morning with you. And it's an office. I got everything that I need in here. And you know what? I'm thinking to myself, is it that serious? Is what you're doing that serious? Why are you doing the meditation every morning? Taking time to edit and upload 4 versions of meditations. Why are you doing that? I don't really have an answer that is negative. I don't have an answer that is questionable. I'm doing it because it's saving my life and it gives me purpose and it helps me. Listen to me closely. It helps me to look at mountains and say, not today. Not today. I'm not going to make this situation a mountain. In fact, my doing the podcast helps me to downsize. Oh my goodness. It helps me to downsize every situation on a daily basis. Because when I'm doing my step 10, when I am doing my step 10, I am able to make prompt amends. When I'm doing my step 10, I'm able to see, okay, Mighty Stream, you responded kind of intensely on that. You need to double back and say, you know what? I don't know what came over me, but I know one thing. You didn't deserve that. And I want to make sure that I acknowledged to you that I'm wrong. Can you forgive me? These mini inventories can even include our finances. These step 10s, right, can include our finances in the moment. Because isn't that what they're talking about here in the second paragraph? Let me highlight that for you. We find ourselves obsessed with a complication in our lives. Okay? Stop there, comma. We find ourselves obsessed with a complication in our lives. Just for today, that would be my dad dying and him thinking that he has more time than he has, even though he's been told he's dying. And hospice, you know, is 6 months or less, is what they think, right? When they put you on hospice. That's a complication in my life because it reveals other things, not just that he's dying. But if I can just be transparent with you, it reveals to me the unmanageability of his life. It shows me that when he passes, unless I have the courage to address this particular thing that I see as a complication, that when he passes, the family won't survive being together because in the midst of trying to make his situation, you know, resolve the things around him, death can reveal a lot of things about a person you love. And for me, the complication is I'm seeing with my own 2 eyes the unmanageability. And I've come to manage because I'm the eldest. That's a complication. because that won't be received well. But because I am the eldest and I love him, I'm going to make sure before he passes that he understands you've done a good job, right? Let's go on. It says, we will do well to sharply remind ourselves of all that is going right. What's going right for me? Well, first of all, I'm consistent with the podcast. And I've met some of you, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you love me and I love you. That is something going right. Going right is that when I'm in the presence of my Father, I am using diplomacy. You guys taught me that when it comes to meetings. We don't have to agree. We need to agree that we can disagree and still work together. So I've learned that I can do that with my father, with my siblings. I'm just being 100% transparent here. And if it's too much, it's okay. Because there's a pause, and you don't have to endure or listen if you don't want to. Okay? But I feel that this is important for me to say because some of you, you're dealing with complications. Life is happening on its own terms. You're not causing the confusion, but you have to deal with it. And when you're dealing with it, you're trying to figure out, why am I in this again? This is just this. I'm going to have to do this and this and this and that. Whew, I'm so exhausted. No, we're looking at the fact that we actually, because of being clean and having a sober mind, are in a position to make decisions after weighing all of the facets of it out. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, we are in a much better position to handle complications today and to apply the 12th step in all, right? In all of our affairs, we apply spiritual principles. We can do that today. And so I find myself applying patience, kindness, and love. I'm even encouraging individuals that are doing the majority of his care. I'm focusing on the positive, even though I see the unmanageability, right? And it says, you say maybe you're sitting here doing your bills and overwhelmed, adding up your financial liabilities. Well, what's positive about that? If you know me, it's amazing to even be in a position to pay a bill instead of sitting in the dark and using any public restroom that you can to do a quick PTA. Okay. Yeah, I'm old school. For some of you that don't know, that means cleaning ourselves up in the sink because that's the only opportunity we have to have water. I don't know if you know about that. I don't know if you know about that. But we're not doing that today. We're actually paying our water bills. Okay. I'll leave you guys alone. I'll leave you guys alone. Okay. I'll just say that we were really honored and privileged to be able to apply recovery to our mountains. And you know what? When we do, we find out that there were molehills anyway. And we learn from our experience. And the next time something comes up, because we will, in recovery, be given countless real life opportunities for excitement and drama. So when something does come up again, you know what? Mighty Stream could say, you know what? My brain will say, you've been here before. And it will automatically start sifting through my whole life. And it will pull out. This is how I just believe, right? That it will pull out the files in the brain that I need to analyze and scan in an instant so that I can pull out the spiritual principle or the lesson that I learned in that experience. So when you're sitting there and you think you're daydreaming or you think something, you're thinking about the past and you have problems and you're distracted, remember that this is actually helpful. You take that lesson that has been resurfaced from your brain, you scan it very quickly, kind of speed read it, pull out the lesson. Oh man, I remember being in this. It was, who was that? Who was that? Okay. Yes, I remember that. And I remember being embarrassed. And I remember wanting to take my life. And I remember that I talked to another recovering addict. Maybe it's your sponsor or sponsee relative in your network. And I remember being told, you are codependent and you need to take responsibility for your recovery. And so you pull that lesson out, and then all of a sudden, what do you know? Boom, bada, bang. You have what you need to make the right decision. And I don't know about you, but for me, that helps me to look at that new issue, right? As it says here, look at my problem, a realistic look at my problem, right? It allows me now to look at that molehill and right size it and say, you know what? I've been here before. I have been here before and I am not falling for that one. No, thank you. No, thank you. And in that moment, I have victory. I have applied spiritual principles in all my affairs. And the main one is experience. I've been able to take the spiritual principle of experience, which is the lesson that is pulled out of the things we go through, our experiences. Are you following me? Because I don't want to lose you here. And I know that it's a bit long, but I want to make sure that you know that you got all that you need to do all that you need to do if you take the time to do these mini inventories and analyze them and pull out the lesson and apply the lesson that you learned to the new issue that is a molehill that you want to make a mountain. Folks, it's quite simple. Get out of the way and keep it simple. And don't overthink everything, because that is one of the reasons why we actually use, because of the pressure, the anxiety, the self-loathing, the degradation that we were experiencing in this molehill that was actually a mountain. Our perspective of the molehill changed. And we got high. We got high. We needed to. We wanted to, but we also needed to deal with whatever was in front of us. And I'm saying it's quite simple. You're listening to a podcast about recovery, about mountains and molehills. That's a plus. And if you apply the spiritual principle of experience, and when you're taking your daily inventory, you will get the lesson out of it, file it in your brain. You can't help it. It goes there anyway. You don't have to say, oh, brain, here's this experience. It does it naturally for you, okay? It's innate. And when you need it, it comes forth. But here's the ticket, and I'm going to end here. Here's the ticket. Here's the thing. That experience can be brought forth in a flashback. It can be brought forth in a dream. It can be brought forth in thought. And I just want to say, just because you've had the experience doesn't mean that you're going to apply the spiritual principle to your molehill and make it keep your molehills as molehills. It doesn't mean that you naturally will. It's going to take some effort, and I know that you can do it. It's going to take effort, and you won't get the benefit of applying that experience, strength, and hope, that lesson, unless you actually do it. How about that one? I'll end there. You have to. It's a must. Because if you don't do it, no, who else is going to do it? Who else is going to do it? There's not a single person that is going to recover for you. You have to recover for you. My name is MightyStream, and I've enjoyed so much talking to you. So much. Thank you. If you're still here, thank you for listening, because I am going through a storm. And you know what? It's right size because I have fellowship with other recovering people. Thank you. I'm going to have a beautiful day. It already is. You know why? Because we're here together, strengthening our recovery together. I don't know. I'm in tears. I really don't ever want to take that for granted. And if you ever see me at a convention, because I've made up my mind, I'm going to go to many more. Don't you hesitate to acknowledge me. I don't care if I'm in the middle of a conversation. Don't hesitate to stop me and acknowledge me. And I will give you the hugest. I might even pick you up. Ask somebody. I might even pick you up because I'm just so happy to see you. Have a beautiful day on purpose. I know that I'm going to talk to you tomorrow.